have a short and sweet webinar for you. Our expert Daniel Vicino from Spire Business Services will provide an update on changes to government and commercial support measures, strategic accounting measures for commercial buoyancy, and case study initiatives to position yourself at the forefront for recovery. Daniel is a certified practicing accountant with extensive experience in streamlining the financial performance of small to medium enterprises. He focuses on clear and valuable business planning performance benchmarking, commercial strategy, and tax compliance advice as a key stakeholder to his clients' commercial success. So, thank you so much for joining us, and Daniel, I'll hand on over the reins to you.
Thanks very much, Kate. Thanks for your time today, everyone, and thanks to Victory officers for giving me the opportunity to present. Hope everyone is doing well today and navigating well through this crazy year. As much as we wish COVID-19 would go away, it's definitely not going anywhere. I know we feel that as much as anyone in Victoria. We need to find ways to get ourselves and our businesses through this in a positive way. Over the past 6 to 7 months, we've been working very closely with businesses to not only get their business through this pandemic, but also have a more robust business out the other side. I just want to share with you a picture of, this is how we started the year, Flinders Street Station, very busy. And then we've kicked off August looking like this. All the people usually moving around our city and now at home, they're not walking into our business or past our businesses at the moment, but this doesn't need to be a picture that reflects our business. There's still ways to earn revenue, and hopefully I can take you through ways to keep our business alive today. Small businesses make up over 93% of all businesses in Australia, and both federal and state government have thrown a lot of lifelines out for our businesses to survive in this tough time. I heard this quote last week and I quite liked it. Being challenged in life is inevitable. Being defeated is optional. So at the end of the day, in this time, it is all about business survival. When this pandemic all started and hit Australia in force back in March, we started working with businesses, as business advisors, we started working with business owners, and we wanted to focus in helping them in 3 key ways. Firstly, we wanted to help businesses, small business owners, no matter who it was, so whether they're clients or not, we just wanted to help. Then secondly, we want to ensure business owners are aware of all the government support measures that can help their business, and then ensure that they can get access to anything that their business is eligible for. There's a lot, which I'll show you in the next slide, and there's too many for me to take you through today, but I want to take you through the 3 key ones that have gone through changes recently. And then thirdly, we wanted to work through with business owners a survival strategy to ensure that their business can survive this pandemic. And I'll step you through this today and then show you some case studies of 2 very different businesses putting the government support and strategy into action and it's helping them get through this pandemic and make them a stronger business out the other side of it. We wanted to focus on helping in these 3 ways because first and foremost, we wanted to see businesses survive. I find it really heartbreaking seeing someone's hopes and dreams go up in smoke. So we really didn't want to see that happen. And especially the ones that we work closely with every day. But we also wanted to make sure business owners were shifting their mindset from doom and gloom to optimism, and therefore making informed, practical and positive moves to navigate their business through this pandemic. So let's get into it. Let's start off with the COVID business support changes. Now, in last count, and there's probably more now even since I counted this, there's around 95 packages available across federal government, state and territories, banks, and other. I even saw one that Facebook was offering, interestingly. So I can't take, like I said, I can't take you through all of them today. It would be here all day. But what I want to take you through is 3 key ones that have gone through changes. So JOBKEEPER 2.0. So I want to take you through JOBKEEPER and the changes that are happening there. The Victorian Government Business Support Package expansion. apologise for anyone who's tuned in outside of Victoria, so that will be very Victorian focused, and government-backed bank lending. So we'll take you through that as well. Let's jump into the JobKeeper changes. From the outset, the people who are currently in the current JobKeeper system, they are enrolled and they're going out to 27th of September 2020. But as of 27th of September, every business will need to re-enroll and reassess their decline in revenue. And that will need to happen for the period 28th of September to 3rd of January, and then they'll need to reassess again for 4th of January to 28th of March. I should mention now, though, people who are currently in JobKeeper, or sorry, who aren't in JobKeeper, we're having a lot of businesses approach us at the moment who couldn't get into JobKeeper earlier in the year because their decline in revenue just hadn't occurred. But now with the stage 3 and stage 4 lockdowns happening in Victoria, they're finding that their business is needing JobKeeper now, and they are eligible for it. So I suggest that you keep an eye on that and speak to your accountant, and if you're eligible, to get into JobKeeper now, and then you'll be in it till the 27th of September when you'll need to re-enroll. So let's kick off talking about the employer eligibility, how that's changed. The turnover decline percentage, that hasn't changed. It's still, we're looking for a 30% decline for businesses with turnover 1 billion or less. And then for businesses with 1 billion or more, it's a 50% decline. And then for ACNC registered charities, other than universities and schools, we're looking for a 15% decline. So no change there across the board. What's changed is the turnover test that's being used to assess whether you're eligible for JobKeeper. So at the moment, for the current JobKeeper system, it's projected or actual, and you can use monthly or June or September quarters. What's changing is that you can only assess September quarter and only actuals against your previous September quarter, previous year September quarter for the period 28th of September 2020 to 3 March 2021. And then for the period 4th of January 2021 to 28th of March 2021, you'll need to reassess again, and that will be based on the December quarter revenue as compared to December quarter last year. There will be alternative tests again, as there were with the current JobKeeper system. And the alternative tests, if you remember, they're for unique businesses, such as businesses that are new, that don't have a comparison period last year, or other situations where they've had a large amount of growth, or they've got a regular turnover each month. I should mention at the moment as well, these changes are yet to be passed through Parliament and may be subject to further changes, but the ones I'm giving you today are the most up-to-date ones. So that's the changes in employer eligibility. Let's have a look now at employee eligibility, and we'll take this line by line. So I don't know whether you remember when JobKeeper first started, there was a reference date of 1st of March 2020. And what that means is that the only employees that were eligible were employees that were employed by you at 1st of March 2020. And that's up to 3rd of August. From 3rd of August, it's recently changed to 1 July 2020. So that means that anyone who's employed by you in 1 July 2020, if they're eligible employees, then they are eligible for, and if your business is eligible, then they're eligible for JobKeeper. We'll move on through to the rates, and we'll come back to touch on this shortly. So the rates have changed. So currently, as you'd be aware, it's a standard $1,500 per JobKeeper fortnight. From 28th of, they're going with a tiered approach. From 28th of September 2020 to 3rd of January 2021, it will be $1,200 per JobKeeper fortnight, and then $1,000 per JobKeeper fortnight for 4th of January to 28th of March. Now, this is for all employees who worked an average of 20 hours or more in the 4 weeks prior to their reference date. So for all employees that came in on 1 July 2020 that were employed after 1 March but before 1 July 2020, they their average in June needs to be 20 hours or more. For employees that were employed before 1 March 2020 and have been in the current JobKeeper system, they can choose either February or June to assess their average 20 hours. So if they don't meet the 20 hours in February, but they do in June, then they can receive the higher tiered amount of 1,200 and 1,000 in the next two JobKeeper periods. All other eligible employees, it's going from 1,500 per JobKeeper fortnight to 750 for the period 28th of September 2020 to 3rd of January 2021, and then 650 per JobKeeper fortnight for 4th of January 2021 to 28th of March 2021. And then dates that the first payments need to be made for each period. At the moment, it's dependent upon the fortnight of that the employer and the employee become eligible. As of 28th of September, payments need to be made by 9th of October 2020. And then as of 4th of January, payments need to be made before 15th of January 2021. So these are JobKeeper payments to your employees. But just be aware that they're pretty tight timeframes because we need to make sure that you're eligible and then make payments. So there's a bit to be done after the end of September. So my suggestion to clients and businesses at the moment is to make sure that you've got your books in order right up to the end of 30 September. So once we tick over 1 October, we can get moving with determining your eligibility and doing the turnover tests, and then doing any forms and enrolments that need to get done, and make sure payments are done before 9th of October. And same with the 15th of January period as well, especially with Christmas in there. So it's likely, and I have seen word that the ATO may extend that, but not sure yet. So I'll just be prepared at this stage. The next one I want to take you through is the Victorian Government Business Support Package expansion. And this one I think has been quite great for a number of businesses. And it's if you remember when COVID-19 first hit back in March, there was a business support package on offer and it was $10,000. And a lot of businesses got that back then. And now since stage 3 and stage 4 lockdowns has started, this is now called the Business Support Package expansion, which is now a further $10,000 available for employing business within Metro Melbourne and Mitchellshire, sorry, and then $5,000 for employing businesses within regional areas except Mitchellshire. Now, there's a range of criteria. A lot of businesses getting JobKeeper do meet this criteria. I won't take you through them all, but the key ones are obviously located in Victoria, participating in JobKeeper and that you employ people. We've had a number of sole traders approach us asking whether they're eligible. If you don't employ people, you're not eligible, unfortunately. Now, the good thing is how this funding can be used is very broad. And it's been very helpful for a lot of businesses to help set up systems, their online commerce systems. There's been a lot of changes that have had to happen, and even just an extra amount of cash at this time has been really helpful for businesses. Applications close 14th of September. So if you want to get on and do that, speak to your accountant, they can help you with it. Kate will be sending out a fact sheet at the end of this, and there will be links to be able to go to the application for this or anything else I've talked about will be on that fact sheet as well. So the next one I want to talk to you about is government-backed lending. So up to 30 September 2020, the features for this lending were it was available to SMEs, including sole traders and not-for-profits, with a turnover of 50 million or less. The maximum total size of the loans was 250,000, and the loans were 3 years with an initial 6-month repayment holiday, and it was unsecured finance. Then from 1 October 2020, same terms as the current scheme, but the following enhancements have been made. The loans can be used for a broader range of business purposes. It's now for $1 million per borrower, which is a lot. And loans can be up to 5 years rather than 3 years. And it's up to the bank whether they give you a repayment holiday or not. And a loan can either be secured or unsecured. The banks will still go through their usual assessment process, and it is the bank's discretion on whether to approve the loan or not. The results on this I've seen have been a bit of a mixed bag. As per usual with applying for loans, it depends on your business individual circumstances. But it is worth contacting your bank and working through it with your accountant to best supply to the bank whatever they need if you need this cash at this time. The next thing I want to take you through is the SME business survival strategy. I'll work through this with you. We've found it really changed the mindset of the business owners that we've worked through this with. It takes the doom and gloom and emotion out of the situation and works through the facts to determine how the business will get through the major event. And this can be used for any major event. This could have been used for the bushfires in December, January. So any business that is tackling a major event, this can be used for. Without doing something like this, it's like driving your business through a storm with no wipers on. We've seen business owners' mindsets change in front of our eyes while working through this, because it really just gets things down on paper or in black and white on the screen to see where your business is at and how it's going to survive. I'll take you through these step by step. The first thing we look at is the event implications. So identify potential implications from the major event, estimate the financial impact, and determine possible mitigation strategies. What we've done with a lot of the business owners we've worked with is just created a spreadsheet, done a brainstorming session, listed these down, and worked through them. Then the old saying, cash is king. Firstly, work with your accountant and get a cash flow projection if you don't have one already. They're very important, and it really just maps out how your business is going to be performing in the next in the future. Once you have a cash flow projection, there's a whole lot of what if analysis you can do as well. So not only for this purpose, but if you're taking on new product lines that require cash, there's a whole range of different things that you can lay over that cash flow to see how it's going to affect your business. What we did with this cash flow is that we would overlay the financial implications into the cash flow. So these event implications that we came up with, number one. Worked out whether we can collect money now or earlier, so anything that we can get into the bank earlier. Is there any payments that can be deferred? A lot of clients we've seen, although it has been difficult, they've been able to get rental deferments. And who do we owe money to? What's a non-negotiable? Who do we need to pay now? Then we moved on to seeking available support, back to JOBKEEPER, the Victorian Government Business Survival Package, anything that there was out there that we would identify, assess and implement financial support available from government and banks, and then overlay these into the cash projections. What we'll come up with then is a cash balance that you're likely to have. After making these adjustments, we'd know how many months of operating costs we have available to us to be able to survive a lockdown period or a period of lower revenue. And an important thing that we were speaking to business owners about is making decisions that keep options open for the future. So a good example is I saw a business owner who, when COVID-19 hit, they threw their hands up in the air, started laying off staff, and then there was a bit of a gap between when it hit and then when JOBKEEPER started. So these staff he laid off went and got new jobs, and then when JOBKEEPER hit, he wanted to have them back, but he couldn't get them back. So it's going to make it difficult when we come back to a normal or new normal, whatever it looks like, for his business, because not only does he have the financial burden, but he's also got the burden of getting new staff, then learning his business, learning his process, and the training involved in that. So just be careful with the decisions that you're making to be able to have sustainability in the future for your business. And then this is the fun one. I've loved seeing some of the innovative revenue streams that have been created in this time. So create innovative revenue streams that can remain. At the end of the day, people in this time are sitting at home and are wanting things that make them feel good and things that put some normality back in life without spending a fortune. I'll take you in one of the case studies. I'll mention this a bit later on. But they're wanting. I'm sure many of you might be aware of. It's called the lipstick effect. So people in this time are not wanting to spend a lot of buy big luxury items, but they're wanting to buy luxury items that make them feel better, that don't cost a fortune. So there's opportunity there for businesses to take advantage of that. Well, not take advantage, but just be able to create revenue streams of that. So I'll move now into the case study. So we've worked through the survival strategy. We've worked through the available, some 3 key support measures. I want to take you through some case studies where businesses have actually implemented these and the strategy and some things that they've done. And there's 2 different businesses, very different businesses, a cafe and a professional service business. And I really like what they've done. I think they've really created a good future for their business and helped their business survive through this. So I'll just step you through 4 key things that they've done. Obviously, they've done the usual things that they needed to do in around COVID-19, the social distancing measures, contactless payments where needed and things like that. But they've also done some other things to generate revenue and keep them alive through this and propel them into the future. So this cafe, they changed, I hope you can see that okay on your screen. It is a little small, but they changed their full menu to takeaway, which kept their usual customers buying from them. And some customers even bought more from them. Back to that, customers wanting some comfort at home. They found that some customers were buying more from them because it was less effort for them to get up and go to their cafe, but they could still have their food while their breakfast or brunch at home, and someone just had to go down and pick it up in their tracky dacks and then bring it home, which they found really effective. They introduced a takeaway dinner menu. This cafe never did dinner menu. They introduced a takeaway dinner menu with new meals, and it created a whole new revenue stream. It's a revenue stream that they'll probably continue doing once it comes back to that new normal state. Then they used the Victorian government support package to implement an online ordering system that was user-friendly and intuitive for both the customer and the cafe. So at the end of the day, without the cafe open, their front of house is this ordering system. So they made sure they put a good one in, and it was something that was very easy to use, and it was a good first impression for their customers. And then they deployed stood-down staff on JobKeeper to build and keep the online system up to date. So instead of people being on JobKeeper at home, they had them working and had them just doing other tasks that needed to get done around the cafe as well, which is fantastic. So that's the cafe, and I'm really proud of them, and I think it will be a really good business into the future. We'll look at now the professional service business. They moved all their finance and admin processes to paperless, which not only created efficiencies during this time, but also for the future as well when they're back into that new normal. They hold fortnightly whole of business meetings on Microsoft Teams to keep staff engaged and connected, and that's been really effective. They did the business survival strategy, and now they review their cash flow projection on a weekly basis to ensure no unexpected dips in the cash flow occur. And even if there is going to be a big dip in the cash flow, at least they're prepared and they can work out what funding they need to get in advance to be able to survive that dip in cash flow. And then they obtain temporary rent relief from their landlord to ease the cash outlay in this time, which was a fantastic help for them. So yeah, these are 2 very different businesses doing different things, but it's been really good to see, and it's been a real positive step. For all these steps have been positive for them, and their business owners have really had a really good, positive, optimistic mindset as well, which has helped to propel them along. There's some helpful links. As I said, there's going to be a fact sheet that Kate sends out, so no need to jot all them down. They'll be in the fact sheet. I thank you again, Kate and Victory officers, and thank you everyone for taking time out of your day to listen to my dulcet tones. And I hope it has been helpful and insightful for you.
Daniel, thank you so much. That was incredibly helpful. We have a couple of minutes, so if anyone has a question, please feel free to include it in the chat box or in the Q&A box. But before we end, Daniel, obviously all the information is there, but you know, where can we find you? Is there anything you'd like to plug before we leave?
Yeah, so my details are there. They'll be in the fact sheet as well. If you've got any questions, like after this, if you walk away going, oh, I should have asked that, that's fine. Email me, call me. We're on St Kilda Road normally. I'm at home at the moment, but normally our office is on St Kilda Road, at 441 St Kilda Road. So if you want to organise a meeting, I'm happy to have meetings over Zoom at the moment anyway as well. So.
Well, I do have a quick question here from Ben. He says, is there much / any support for new businesses that open during this time?
We're yet to find out about these alternative tests. Okay. So we'll see more, because if a business opened in say May and then they've employed before 1 July, it's possible that there will be an alternative test for JobKeeper that will be able to get them access to JobKeeper. So it's a bit of a wait and see for these alternative tests at the moment.
Perfect. Well, I've got one more question here from Wendy, and she's asked sole traders, how can they pivot to be covered by JobKeeper or similar grants?
Sorry?
How can sole traders pivot to be covered by JobKeeper or similar grants?
I think it's a matter of really keeping a keen eye on your revenue and making sure, which then goes to having a good accounting system as well, to make sure that you are eligible. So as soon as you are eligible, get onto JobKeeper and speak to your accountant about that. And then for sole traders, it's just making good use of that. They can go through that business strategy as well, business survival strategy as well, and making good use of the support that they do get.
Yeah. All right, beautiful. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Daniel. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'll be in touch with that information form later today, and hopefully I'll see you all online again soon. All right, have a good day.
Thank you.